seniors especially play in their high school career, but the underclassmen as well. They've all been quite enthusiastic at practice, been working very, very hard in anticipation of winning the game today to bring that record up to a 500 record. The 5-5 would be a remarkable record considering the very, very slow start. Stoneham, as you said, John, is going to end up with the advantage of the win here in the first quarter.
And at number 50, Thomas Boyle kicking off for the Spartans, and the wind already playing tricks out there. It's blown the ball off the tee.
Well, I would suspect that we're going to end up seeing somebody getting in there to hold the football before the afternoon's over, because this wind is an extremely stiff wind.
And it is Schwalm and Mike Sewell back to receive it, and it is squibbed to one of the up men, and he is taken down at about his own 42-yard line. I'm not sure who picked that one up for the Rockets. It might have been Nando Zuki, and it was. The Rockets will start off 1st and 10 from their own 42-yard line, and we are underway. And this one, I think a little bit more excitement in this one, Cliff, than we've seen in the last several Stoneham Reading Thanksgiving Day games. Dave Johnson, the Rocket quarterback. Around the left side, that's Paul Crispo trying to get inside on the outside. Right through one tackle, and he is pushed out of bounds. He gained about 5 yards on that carry. Good run by Paul. Looked like he was going to be tackled in the backfield. And he slipped away. And he was finally pushed out by Dave Pignone.
No particular surprise. Crispo has been running the ball very, very well for Reading in the second half of the season, and Reading wasted no time at all trying to get him to the outside.
2nd down, and we'll call it 5 from the 46. Straight up the middle, it is Scott Allen squirming, and he gained about 2 yards. It's going to be 3rd down, and we'll call it 3.
Well, last week Reading had a very, very good mix of inside running as well as outside running, so that I think we should expect to see more of the same. They're going to run the ball and throw it when they want to throw it, rather than being pressured into throwing it when everybody in the ballpark might know it's coming.
It is 3rd down and 2 from just inside the midfield stripe. Johnson rolling out to his right, looking that way, has Allen, he has got it, and he falls down at about the 40. That's enough for a 1st down. Scott Allen with that reception.
They've had success during the course of the season getting people open on the shot patterns in the flat area. Have oftentimes elected to go deep, but that time they took what they were given, and it was enough to pick up a substantial amount of yardage.
It is 1st and 10 for the Rockets at the Stoneham 41-yard line. Out of the wishbone now, Crispo off the left side, still on his feet, squirming forward, gains about 5 yards. That is the first time we've seen the wishbone formation, Cliff. That has been the Rockets' bread and butter in the last 3 or 4 games, and Paul Crispo has been the main man out of that backfield.
Well, Reading uses the wishbone formation, but in effect, what they're actually running is T formation plays. That is to say, a lot of double team blocks, a lot of power plays, rather than the wishbone that's run perhaps in the Southwest Conference where they run the option play. Reading doesn't run the option. They run power plays.
Now Reading has Schwalm lined up in the slot back spot on the left, and the right side of the Reading offensive line moved.
Emotions are running high Thanksgiving Day. Unfortunately, the players have a tendency sometimes to get kind of wrapped up in the whole thing. They've got to keep their concentration. It's still early in the game. 5-yard penalty remains to be seen what effect it's going to have on this drive, but certainly everybody wants to keep their mind on the ball game and try to forget about the hoopla that's been surrounding the game.
That will push the ball 5 yards farther back. That's the 5 yards Crispo gained on 1st down. It's 2nd down and 10 from the Stoneham 40-yard line. We're scoreless. We've played about 2 minutes here in the first quarter. Off the right side in a terrific defensive play, number 53 is Anthony Saltamartini, and he just shot through and pulled Scott Allen down for about a 2-yard loss.
Well, he was able to penetrate in a seam or through a seam between two offensive linemen as they try to move to their right to get to the outside to block in that play.
It is going to be 3rd down and about 11 yards for the Rockets. Passing situation. Johnson looking to the right. The pass is complete. Finds Crispo stumbling forward, and he is close to a Reading
flag
first down.
also, John. I think that was a roughing penalty over there after the play was called dead. So I would look for more yardage to be tacked onto this play for Reading's benefit.
Reading looking pretty strong offensively here against the wind in this opening drive. And you were right, Cliff. We're going to see some extra yardage tacked onto that gain. There is a huge mud puddle out in the middle of the field. It is a very nice day to play a football game. A little bit on the windy side, but not, that wind is making it colder than it is. But there was a terrific rainstorm, as everyone remembers, last night, Wednesday night. And it's made, down in the Stoneham end of the field here, things a little bit on the slick side.
Well, the ball's on the right hash mark. I would assume that Reading would try to run the ball to their right rather than run into that puddle area.
The ball is moved down to the 14-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Rockets. Straight up the middle, that's Paul Crispo stumbling forward. He gains about 4 yards.
Crispo made a good judgment. He broke through in that quick opener, broke through the line, and immediately cut to the outside and was able to maximize that gain.
It will be 2nd down and about 6 yards to go for the Rockets.
The field is not in too bad a shape other than from the 30-yard line into the goal line at this particular end of the field, unfortunately.
Reading out of the wishbone once again. Straight up the middle, that's Scott Allen, and he is taken down at about the 6. And it's going to be 3rd down and short for the Rockets.
Looked like Ed Hickey was one of the tacklers on that play. Again, I think what Reading is trying to do is they're trying to bring the Stoneham defense in towards the center of the field, thus opening up plays on the outside, off the tackles.
It is 3rd down and 2, a big play right here. Dave Johnson, off the left side, Crispo, squirming forward, and I believe he has got the 1st down for the Rockets.
Well, he had to get just beyond the 5, and I think by falling down and just stretching, I think he was able to get that yardage. Not too much problem.
Jeff Corkum, the right linebacker, outside linebacker, making that tackle for Stoneham. But the Rockets, Cliff, establishing something right off the bat here. Well, they are driving.
For the 4th week in a row, we look for that surge from the offensive line, and we're getting it. They're looking good today.
1st and goal for the Rockets at the Stoneham 3-yard line. Off the right side, Mark Schwalm, he is taken down hard. Schwalm, it looked like he had some room off that right side, and Salta Martini, once again, shooting through. One of the linebackers for the Spartans, and he brought Schwalm down.
Well, the reputation of Stoneham is that of a hard-hitting, swarming defense, and they're showing that to us today.
2nd and goal. Off the left side this time, Crispo is stood up. Thomas Boyle in on the hit for Stoneham.
Also, one thing we have to keep in mind, John, just the natural progression of things, as you get closer to the goal line, it is that much more difficult to run the ball. And with this type of a defense that Stoneham is showing today, it's going to be even more difficult.
3rd down and goal from the 3. And a fumble on the play, and somebody moved forward with it.
Looked like it was an attempted handoff to Scott Allen. The ball did seem to come loose, but I think he was able to get on the ball.
And it's going to be 4th and goal for Reading, and it's decision time. It's at about the 1-yard line here, Cliff. Going into the wind, and Dave Johnson wants to talk things over with Coach Gary Nyan. It is 4th down. The ball is just outside the 1-yard line, it appears. What do you call here, Coach?
Well, John, I think what we want to do is probably try to run Crispo, and what I would do, rather than run him off the left side, I think I'd come back and run him on a quick opener over the right side.
Twice so far we've seen running backs catching passes from Dave Johnson, a little rollouts on that right side. Maybe flare somebody out to that right side. Twice it's been open.
To do two different receivers, as a matter of fact, one to the fullback in the flat, Scott Allen, and then the second time a little bit deeper down the field to Crispo out of the backfield. So you're right, John. There, as we've said several times for the Reading fans this year, we've indicated that Reading has an arsenal that includes several different weapons, and they do have a variety of alternatives they can use down here close to the goal line.
4th and goal for the Rockets at about the 1.5-yard line. Straight up the middle and very close. No signal, and I believe they've been stopped. Yeah, Stoneham has held right up the gut. I believe it was Scott Allen that got the handoff, and he was stopped, and we're talking inches shy of that goal line, Cliff.
Can't get much closer without putting it in the end zone.
And maybe we can run that one back again, and we have got an instant replay set up here today. We can take a look at it. Here's the play.
Straight handoff to Allen. Johnson's hands go up in the air to signify a touchdown, but the referees don't.
Wishful thinking on his part. And we're back. 1st and 10 for the Spartans.
From about their own half-yard line.
They've got a long way to go here. And to give off the right side, and coming through is number 21. That's Ed Hickey, the fullback. And he went right into that mud. He came real close to breaking that one for 99.5 yards, Cliff.
Well, we see that many times in the course of a football game. When you have the offense literally up against the wall, just outside their own goal line, the tendency for the defense is to be perhaps a little bit overly aggressive. And in so doing, when the offensive back breaks through that first wave and gets probably a 2 or 3 yard gain, all of a sudden the whole field opens up for him, and the next individuals that are there to make tackles are safeties. Well, heck, they're about 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. So it was a tailor-made play, a good call by the Stoneham offense. Coach Kasperzak and his staff certainly have scouted Reading several times during the course of the season.
It is 1st and 10 for the Spartans off the left side. And the tackle was made after about a 2-yard run. That, I believe, was Ed Hickey once again. He's carried the ball twice, and he's already covered with mud as he landed in a couple of those puddles out there.
2 seniors for Reading on the tackle, Joe Venuti and Bill Dillon, who have done a fine job for the Rockets all season long, and in fact in their entire varsity career they've done good jobs. Well, still deep in their own territory inside the 15-yard line, and they are right in the muck and the mire. You couldn't find a worse spot in the field to be in.
2nd and 7. Stoneham. Off the left side, that's Hickey once again. No, that's number 31. And that's McNeil, Tom McNeil.
Senior Steve Graham in on the play, along with Scott Allen, number 44 for the Rockets. 3rd down and maybe a yard.
And this is a big spot for the Rocket defense, Cliff. If they can stop Stoneham, who has done a pretty good job on the ground in their first three plays from scrimmage, from their own half-yard line, that's a real tough position to be left in. And they've been able to move it out to their own 21, 3rd and 1 for the Stoneham Spartans. And off the left side, the 1st down and then some. And that was McNeil again, I believe.
Mike Sewell, 22, in there in the play, along with Timmy Griesmer, 85 for the Rockets.
And that was Hickey. Hickey wearing number 21, McNeil number 31.
Well, John, if they're successful in moving the ball the entire length of the field, it'll be a 99-yard drive. You couldn't ask for much more than that. But they still got a long way to go. They're at about their own 26-yard line.
The quarterback, Bob Ferraro, off the left side. That's McNeil around that left end, and he is taken down by Sewell on the far side.
Mike Sewell did a good job of getting out there and basically crimping the running back up against the sideline. He really didn't have too much to go. too far to go or much alternative out there. He had to try to hit the sideline and then cut it up, and Sewell just drove him out of bounds. Rockets have been doing a good job so far in the game offensively. Defensively, they've had a little bit of a problem in the sense that the Spartans, as they've done all year long, have been able to make those quick openers go for reasonably good yardage. But Reading, as the Reading Rocket fans have seen all year long, the Reading Rocket defense has a tendency to bend, especially over the last 4 games. They've played very, very tough, aggressive defense. It's still early in the game. There's about 1 minute and 30 seconds left here in the first quarter, so that there's plenty of time for both Stoneham and Reading to put some points on the board. And I look for a very, very close game, John. I know that the Spartans hope to finish with a 6-4 record, but on the other hand, just as stronger feelings from the Reading side. They want to finish up with a 500 record. After their dismal start, it would be an accomplishment that the team could look back on very positively if they can do this today.
And help them heading into next year, too, that the program is headed in the right direction. Second down and about 4, and the right looked like tackle moving too quick.
Dead ball foul. It's an automatic procedure call. Just a little over-aggressive. Again, we've indicated earlier in the game, there's a lot of hoopla, especially from Stoneham's side. They had a parade, and they involved members of past classes from Stoneham High School and so forth. And I'm sure that players from both sides are fired up today. But you've got to maintain control. You've got to use that adrenaline to your benefit, and you've got to make sure you concentrate, keep your head in the ball game.
1:29 left to go in the first quarter. We're scoreless. To give straight up the middle, McNeil still on his feet, and he is finally dragged down. And we're seeing some real big holes open up by that Stoneham offensive line. They're a big team, a little bit bigger than the Rockets, and they're a strong team, Cliff, and they are making some holes for McNeil and Hickey out of that backfield.
Senior Timmy Griesmer on the tackle that time for the Rockets. Offensive back through the line, and then he cut back a little bit. He cut back against the grain.
It is 1st and 10 at the Stoneham 43. Ferraro off the left side, McNeil again, and he is wrestled to the ground. It looked like that was going to go farther than it did. They're working that left side pretty successfully.
Scott Wade, 52 for the Rockets, did a good job of getting over there. He dove and did make the tackle of the shoestring variety, but he did the job nevertheless.
Craig Sorbello is dressed for this game for the Rockets and may see some action. He had knee surgery about 2 weeks ago, and probably against the doctor's orders is suited up, and he wants to get in for a few plays this game. This is his final high school football game also. Now on a little misdirection play.
Billy Dillon stayed right in his area. He didn't get sucked outside. Stayed there. He guarded against that inside handoff. It's a type of a reverse play. The initial flow appears to drive the ball to the left. They hope to get the defense to commit to that side. And then they come back with a wing back on that inside handoff. And as I said, that time, Dillon maintained his area, didn't get sucked outside, and he made the tackle. Nice job.
And that was Dave Pignone with that last carry. We've got a timeout okay, that's the end of the first quarter. Ticked off to our right here without either one of us spotting it, Cliff. A scoreless first quarter, very quick first quarter. We only saw a couple of passes, and those were both completed by the Rockets. Stoneham trying to do everything on the ground so far, where they started out, that's the way to go. Reading disappointed, I'm sure, that they didn't pop it through. They came within inches of scoring a touchdown. To be stopped when you're that close, a little bit of a demoralizing sequence of plays there for the Rockets when you get that close and you're not able to score any points. I think it was the right call at the time. A real tough win. They have not. Griezmann's been doing a real nice job with the place kicking, but against this wind, I'm not sure if anybody's going to be able to get it through. It's far from a sure thing. And Stoneham, on the other hand, has got to pump them up that they've done what they did in the first quarter. They gave up a lot of yards. They bent, but they didn't break. It's an old cliche, but that's what happened. And now they're coming back, and they've got the ball. They're approaching midfield, and they've got a little something going themselves.
Well, Stoneham has the ball on about their own 43 or 42 or 43 yard line, so I guess we subtract the yards since they started at about the 1. They've got about 42 yards of total offense, all on the ground, and they've done a good job moving the ball.
And it is 3rd down and about 6.
A little bit of indecision here. Stoneham has decided to call a timeout now. Now that the ball's been placed and the quarter was about ready to begin, they've called a timeout.
Which is something you don't want to do. There's no need for that. They were already over at the bench. They should have gotten things cleared up at that point. And now to have to use a timeout when you were just over at your bench talking things over, it's something you don't want to waste one in that situation.
Well, I was by watching the coaches and trying to look at people's reactions and so forth, and also to see who they've got over there, I was trying to determine perhaps what might have happened, but everybody seems to be pretty calm and collected, and perhaps it's just one of those things. Maybe play was called back in at mid-sentence, and somebody felt as though they had that one last important thought to get across to the team.
Terrific crowd here today, Cliff. We're on the Stoneham side. This is where the power is, so we had to plug everything over here. But on that Reading side, it's pretty full, and good crowd over on this side also. Stoneham out of the eye now. Ferraro looking over the middle, batted down. I'm not sure who got his hand up in front of that one. It could have been Dylan or Peter L. And Stoneham is going to be forced to kick it away. The first pass attempt by Stoneham, batted down by the Rocket defensive line. Going back to receive the punt.
I believe that might have been, excuse me, John, but I think that might have been Joe Venuti, number 51. They were in a crowd there, and I just waited for the huddle to break up and try to keep track of who that was. I think it might have been Joe Venuti.
It is going to be Schwalm and Carl McFadden back to receive the kick. Mark Schwalm already all covered with mud also, as is
ironically enough, Stoneham now kicks into the wind.
And they get it away. It's a very poor kick, and it will roll out of bounds, rolling towards us at about the 41-yard line. And now the Rockets have got the wind with them. They moved it against the wind in that first quarter. Now the key to that first quarter, the Rockets kept the ball for a good portion of that first quarter. For the most part, except for 2 passes on the ground, they were able to use up all their time they had against the wind. They kept the ball. Now they've got it with the wind, and it could work to their advantage.
Ironically enough, you're right, John. Now that Stoneham finds themselves looking into the wind, and Reading has the added advantage.
Reading out of the wishbone. Off that left side, Paul Crispo, and he is just dragged down. A shoestring tackle by number 90, and there's a flag, a late flag. Matt Taylor with the tackle. I believe we're going to have a personal foul against Stoneham as Carl McFadden is clapping.
Carl McFadden went deep into the secondary in order to make a downfield block, and somehow or another, I don't quite understand why, I think it was David Pignone who was down there. He would have been the victim of the block, and apparently took exception to something Carl said or attempted to do, and I don't know why, but he took exception to it, and the referee dropped the flag against him. Personal foul.
The ball is at the Stoneham 46-yard line. David Johnson, the Rocket quarterback. Crispo hurdling over the line of scrimmage. Gains about 4 yards. It seems as if every time Paul Crispo gets the ball, it's just almost an automatic 4 yards at least, the way he's been running the last 3 or 4 weeks, and oftentimes even much more than that, Cliff.
Well, the point we've attempted to try to make during the course of the season is that it isn't necessary to get all the yardage all in one shot. And if you can get those 4 yards twice, that's going to give you 3rd down and 2 yards to go, and we'll take that every day.
2nd down and 6 for Reading. And misdirection play, and I'm not sure, I believe it was Mark Schwalm who took that handoff. Number 84 for Stoneham. In on the hit is Doug Clark. And it's going to be 3rd down, and we'll call it 4 yards to go for the Rockets at the Stoneham 40. Johnson fake inside, throwing long. McFadden there. He's got it. He's going to go all the way. Kyle McFadden. Touchdown, Reading. Beautiful fake inside by Dave Johnson.
A good fake by Johnson to John Paglia. And what it did was it froze number 22 Pignone, Ricky Pignone, and he bit on the fake. And once the ball was in the air, McFadden readjusted his pass route and was able to get underneath it, and it seemed to be easy as pie.
You could see that. Kyle was out there. The man scrambling back, trying to knock it down desperately, could not get there. And we've got the extra point attempt coming up for the Rockets.
You know, it's funny. I've had an opportunity to speak with Coach Nyan several times during the season, and I know one of the things that he tries to emphasize to his defensive backs is you don't want to be looking into the backfield to look for the fakes. That's what the offense wants you to do.
Griezmer's kick, and he has got it. It was low, but it goes through, and the Rockets have broken out on top here, 7-0, a 40-yard touchdown pass from Dave Johnson to Carl McFadden, and let's take a look at it right now. Here's the play.
Let's watch the fake. Nice fake. Oh, that's not
and
the...
faked us out, too.
Yeah, faked us out. That wasn't the play.
All right.
I think it might be the play after that.
All right, we might have backpedaled a little bit too far. We're going to try to run that play for you as soon as we can, and hopefully this is it.
Here's the fake to Paglia on the inside. He rolls to the left. He fires the ball, and McFadden, by that time, is wide open. What we weren't able to see, it was slightly off camera, was the fact that the defender bit on the fake. He took a step up. McFadden got behind him, and that's how he scored the touchdown.
And we're just about set to kick off here. The Rockets up 7-0. And it's going to be Tim Griezmer kicking off to Tom McNeil and Dave Pignone.
Still have about 8 minutes. Well, we have about 8 minutes and 13 seconds, even though we all know that the game clock is kept on the field by the officials. This scoreboard clock is unofficial, but there are about 8 minutes and 13 seconds left here in the first half. Plenty of time.
Tim Griezmer. The kick comes down, and Hickey takes it out of McNeil's hands. Ed Hickey. And he is taken down.
Nando Zucchi, 32 in there.
Hickey at his own 30-yard line. Zucchi there.
Michael Sewell, 22, and also out there was Derek Latham, 16 for the Rockets.
It is going to be 1st and 10 for the Stoneham Spartans at their own 31-yard line. The Rockets have just taken the lead on a 40-yard touchdown pass from Dave Johnson to Carl McFadden. A couple of seniors hooking up, and that's something that will go down in their memory books as a big play for both of them.
Well, the Reading defense now has to stiffen. They have to show Stoneham that Reading, can stop Stoneham's ground game.
Ferraro to give off the left side. Big hole there for McNeil. Has some room down that sideline. Tom McNeil may go all the way. And finally taken down at about the 6. Nando Zucchi took him down. McFadden made a last-ditch dive and slowed him up. And Zucchi raced in and got him. Let's take a look at that one. All right, we won't watch that one right now. Let's watch what's happening on the field here.
The ball's marked back into play now.
1st and goal for Stoneham. And Hickey right up the middle, and he is taken down.
Timmy Griezmer in there, along with Bill Dillon, to trip up the running back for a little gain. Just after we indicated that the Stoneham offensive ground game had been successful, and that had to be Reading's first priority to stop that offense, they immediately break off a long run.
It is 2nd and goal. At the Reading 5. Off the left side, McNeil driving forward, very close. And he is taken down at about the 1-inch line.
Michael Sewell and Mark Schwam over there think Michael kind of jumped on for the ride, and he held on for dear life and was able to eke him out of bounds, like you say, John, inside the 1-yard line.
It is 3rd and goal for Stoneham, inside the Reading 1. Hickey right up the middle, touchdown Stoneham. Ed Hickey with a 2-inch touchdown run, Cliff.
Well, if my calculations are right, it only took him 1 minute and 15 seconds to score.
And of course set up by the long run by McNeil. That was about a 65-yard run. Started, I believe they were at their own 30-yard line, the first play from scrimmage. Once again, a huge hole, Cliff, opened up by that Stoneham offensive line. And he had lots of room, did a good job getting around this left side and down, tightrope down that left sideline. McFadden with a good effort. I think he slowed him up a bit, and Zuki was able to come in and finish him off at about the 5, but a little bit too little and much too late as Stoneham then drives it in from the 1, Ed Hickey. And Stoneham within a point here. They called a timeout, and they're talking over if they want to attempt the extra point or go for 2, I'm sure.
On that running play, John, it looked to me as though it was a sprint draw. It was a play designed to look like a sweep. Then he cut back over the tackle, and as soon as he got through the line of scrimmage, he immediately bumped to the outside. And once he got to the sideline, McFadden was able to catch him from behind, but not after. He gained probably 30-some-odd yards after he went through the line of scrimmage.
And they're going to go for 2 points. Bob Ferraro rolling out to his right, looking, throwing, and it's complete. Number 90 is Matt Taylor. I believe he was looking for Hickey, and it bounced out of Hickey's hands. He was open, and behind him was Clark, or Taylor, excuse me, and he pulled it in.
John, what's the cliche? Being in the right place at the right time. An interesting play philosophically, simply because when they started the play, it looked as though they were going to be looking to the outside. But McFadden had pretty good coverage deep to the outside, and they looked to their secondary receiver. When they threw the ball to him, it deflected off either his shoulder pad or his hands, deflected into the air. A Reading defender was kind of in there someplace along the line, and then before you know it, the the third receiver for Stoneham was able to receive the ball on the rebound for the 2-point conversion.
And we have got the replay of the touchdown there.
There's a touchdown.
And if we've got the 2-point conversion, we can run that too. And I guess we don't.
Well, there was a timeout called after that touchdown, John, so they certainly talked about it, and they obviously came up with the right play. Even though it might have been a little bit of accidental offense, I'm sure they'll take it.
Boyle drills it down. It is taken by Steve Graham coming up the middle, and he's taken down by Taylor, who just caught that 2-point conversion.
I don't think there's any doubt that Matt Taylor is fired up after catching that 2-point conversion pass. He comes down the field, he makes the tackle on the kickoff.
And it is 8-7 Stoneham, as Hickey with the 1-yard touchdown run, and Taylor catching the 2-point conversion, catching the deflected pass, deflected by Hickey, popped up into the air behind him, and Taylor, the right man in the right place. Reading at their own 38. Off the right side, big hole, Schwalm squirting through for about 5 yards.
Reading seems to be having some success running the ball off tackle to the right-hand side. I think what's happening is that the Stoneham defense, as a result of the scouting reports no doubt they've received, are trying to gang up on Crispo and trying to eliminate his success running off the left tackle. But in doing that, they've opened up their defensive line a little bit, and it's opening up 4 or 5 yards of crack for Reading as they run off the right tackle. There's a timeout on the officials as they are requesting the Stoneham bench team members to back up a little bit from the sideline. Pretty good sized crowd here today, John. I think I'm going to wait a little bit because they're still coming in. I don't want to give my my estimation of the crowd quite yet. I'll wait a little bit.
35,000.
Well, we'll wait a little bit.
Second down and 5 for Reading at their own 48-yard line. Crispo off the left side, and he has about 4 yards. It's going to be third down and I believe about a yard to go for the Rockets. And the ball is, sorry Cliff, at the Rocket 46. I believe a little bit confused with the yard markers here.
Well, the offensive philosophy that Reading is showing, as we said, was on the first and second down, if you can get 4 yards in each of those, that's going to give you third down and 2. And now they have a choice. They can run the ball or they can throw the ball.
Off the left side, Crispo has some room on the left sideline, and he is wrapped up. He has got the first down, I believe. I thought we were going to see Crispo go all the way with that one.
Well, he was trying to bump to the outside, did a good job in his attempt, but the pursuit by the Stoneham defense was enough to be able to cut down his. They had a good angle to cut down his ability to get to the outside. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I just a little tongue-tied today. About 5 minutes and 5 seconds left here in the first half.
And Dave Johnson calls time. If we've got time here, maybe we can take a look at that long run by McNeil on that touchdown drive for Stoneham. Trying to find it on our replay deck.
Rockets have, as we said earlier, John, I think what's happening is Stoneham in their during the course of their practices in anticipation of this game, and as a result, probably the scouting reports. I know I saw the Stoneham scouts on the road watching Reading for at least 4 or 5 weeks. Assistant coach Yuva on the road for the Spartans this year, scouting Reading in preparation for the Thanksgiving Day game. I'm sure in their preparation they wanted to bunch up that left offensive tackle area so that Crispo would not be as successful off that left side of the line. But in doing that, it's opened up the right-hand tackle.
And we're going to try to run that play for you as soon as we can cue it up on our replay deck. The give is to Scott Allen off the right side, and he is taken down. Allen for about a yard off the right side. Second, and we'll call it 8 yards to go for the Rockets as the wind really starting to blow quite severely once again. Johnson dropping back, looking, Boyle in pursuit, and it is incomplete. In and out of the hands of Crispo. Fired up Stoneham squad here, doing a little bit of taunting after that play was Pignone at Paul Crispo.
Well, David Pignone did a good job getting out there to cover that flat. Crispo did have the ball initially on his fingertips, but as a result of the collision caused by Pignone, who could not hold on to the ball, I had voiced a personal view earlier in the season, and I'll repeat it, and I won't say it again the rest of the year since this is the last game. I don't personally like the taunting aspect. If you want to do it in the field, fine, do it, but I don't like the pointing and all that stuff.
Now the Rockets have McFadden split out wide to the right, Allen in motion. The lone setback is Schwalm. Johnson dropping straight back, looking over the middle, and Griesmer had it and he dropped it. Tim Griesmer had it over the middle, had a little bit of room.
Thrown a little bit behind him that time, and Timmy was trying to reach back a little bit, was Griesmer, to catch that ball. And I'm not quite sure if the Stoneham defender didn't get his hand in there, but in any case, the ball was behind him a little bit, and he was unable to hold on to the ball.
And the first punt for the Rockets is going to be Tim Griesmer kicking it away.
Got a feeling this ball is going to take off if he can get the ball up into the jet stream.
McNeil and Pignone back for Stoneham. Boots it off to the right side, and it will roll out at about the 15-yard line.
More importantly than being at the 15-yard line was the fact that there was no return. No return by Stoneham. So it's a good effort by Griesmer to get the ball downfield and out of bounds. Stops the clock with 4:09 left here in the first half.
First and 10 for the Spartans, and they are going to start at their own 15. 8-7, Stoneham up here. And the Spartans have done the job on the ground thus far. Have yet to complete a pass, save for the two-point conversion. Now Ferraro, the give to McNeil off the right side, has some room up the middle. McNeil on the go once again. He may go all the way. Tom McNeil is going to go 85 yards for a Stoneham touchdown.
Well, John, that was pretty close to the 15-yard line, that line of scrimmage. My math tells me that's 85 yards for a touchdown.
Tack that on to the 65-yard run earlier, and McNeil is having a season right here in the first half. McNeil gives Stoneham a 14-7 lead. And let's see what the Spartans want to do here.
They're going to call a timeout, John. Coach Kasperzak and his staff want to talk it over.
And we have a timeout. Let's take a look at the play since we have some time here. And we're just waiting once again to get that tape queued up. And we've got it. And there goes McNeil down that left sideline.
That's interesting, John. It started out as a sprint draw off the right side of the line. He got through the line of scrimmage into the linebacker area, and he cut the ball, a little unusual, but he cut the ball back across the grain to this sideline on the bottom of the TV screen, and he was able to make hay into the end zone for 85 yards.
And McNeil with that 85-yard run, and the Spartans with a 7-point lead with 3:54 left to go in the first half.
You know, John, I've been trying to be careful not to use cliches, but I said today I'm going to use every cliche I can think of. So for those fans out there who are concerned, I'm sorry. It's Thanksgiving. Enjoy your turkey.
Going for the 2 off the left side. McNeil driving. He's got it. Tom McNeil over for the 2-point conversion. And hopefully we're going to have that on a replay. Here we go. And McNeil, and he gets hit right at the goal line, Cliff, and that little spin is what got him through. They have got some, we've mentioned it several times, but those holes are huge that those Stoneham running backs are going through right now. And Reading defensively, it's pretty much straight ahead football off the right and the left side, inside the tackles pretty much that this is happening. And, you know, they've got to come up with something to kind of fill up those gaps, because those holes have been just way too big for the Rockets if they want to come out of here. They're down by 9 points right now, and they have not shown the capability, save for the opening drive for the Spartans, of stopping Stoneham.
Well, we were pretty sure they were going to go for 2 points again, simply because it puts that additional pressure on the Rockets. They have to score that second touchdown or go for a field goal at some point. That's assuming they go for 2 points after they score a touchdown.
Tom Boyle, number 50, getting set to kickoff.
Inside of 4 minutes left in the first half.
Boyle drills it down, bounces to Scott Allen, trying to come up the middle, and he is taken down at about his own 40-yard line.
Interesting little game, at least I think they're doing it intentionally. Playing a little game, Stoneham's kickoff team is, by just kind of punching that ball into that very, very mucky, wet area at the Rocket end of the field. I'm sure hoping that the ball drops dead right in the spot, and the Rockets may have some difficulty picking that ball up.
It is first down for the Rockets at their own 39-yard line. Allen and Schwalm in the backfield. Now that's Paul Crispo, and he's coming straight up the middle. There's a flag down and thrown in the area where you see a lot of holding calls. And we might see an offsides against, and we've got another personal foul.
That's the third personal foul that's been called against Stoneham in the game. We still got 3.5 minutes left in the first half.
They're a pumped-up team right now. A little bit too pumped up, I'd say. We mentioned earlier we saw Pignone with some taunting at Crispo. On one of his earlier runs, I believe Hickey, a little bit of finger pointing too. This is their third personal foul, and just getting a little bit on the over-enthusiastic side, I think. They know this is as good a shot as they've had in a long time of beating the Rockets. Now out of the shotgun, Johnson looking, has Crispo, and he makes a fine catch at about the 30-yard line.
That the latest personal foul, it happened so quick. It happened almost as the ball was snapped. My assumption is it may have been a face mask or something perhaps, or maybe a head slap by one of the interior linemen, because the flag was dropped almost immediately. It didn't seem to have anything to do with the offensive backs.
And now a fumble, and Johnson able to pick it up.
A little bit of a problem on the exchange there. Fumbles on the exchange are a shared responsibility. No sense pointing fingers as well as the center of the quarterback. It's a joint venture, and a lot of things can go wrong, but for the most part this season, in fact, that may well be the first fumble on an exchange this season for the Rockets.
It is 2nd down and 11. The Rockets out of the wishbone. Crispo off the left side, coming up the middle. Paul Crispo still on his feet, finally taken down at about the Spartan 10-yard line.
Very, very important drive for the Rockets. They can put one back in the end zone, okay, and whether they go for 1 or 2 points, that's probably immaterial. As long as they can put one in the end zone and get back close in this race, give Stoneham something to think about at halftime, they'll be back in pretty good shape before too long.
It is 1st and 10 for Reading.
A gaping hole for Crispo that time.
At about the Stoneham 10-yard line. Paul off the left side, and his feet went out from under him.
Just as he planted his foot to make his cut, his foot went out from underneath him. No doubt a little sloppy, a little soggy at various points in the field, and that must have been one of them.
It is 2nd down. The ball is at about the 10-yard line, and there's the 2-minute warning.
John, all in all, at least one man's observation, people have got their money's worth so far. This has been a good football game.
Certainly has. 16-7 Stoneham. We've seen a lot of good offensive play by both squads. And kind of a fun game. You see a lot of these on Thanksgiving, though. Both teams try to
field.
Open it up a little bit at times on Thanksgiving. Crispo off the left side, over the top.
I'm not quite sure whether he got it or not. I don't see any initial signal from the officials that he got it, so I assume that maybe he didn't get it. In order for that play to continue to be successful off the left guard tackle area, they've got to, the offensive linemen for Reading, have to cut the Stoneham men down. You can't just back them up and stand them up in a hole because they're going to be in the way of the ball carrier.
It is 3rd down for the Rockets. Still at the Stoneham 10. Johnson looking to the right, lofting it up into the end zone. McFadden, there he is, got it.
He's in for the score.
Touchdown, Reading. Carl McFadden with his 2nd touchdown reception of the afternoon, or morning actually so far. It's still before noontime here.
Technical, John.
It is 16-13. Dave Johnson, once again with a nice little fake inside, lofting it up to that right side. Most of the time, the Rocket receivers have been open, as Stoneham's done a good job on their offensive line, opening up the holes. Reading with a pass almost every time they've sent somebody out into a pattern.
Well, that time McFadden was able to break out from his tight end spot, and he got in the area between the linebacker and the safety.
And now we have got to fake the pitch around the left side, and now he throws it in, and it's complete to McFadden, and that is quite a play.
Goodness sake. Goodness sake. And just to emphasize the point, the referee did signal towards this side of the field, I would think specifically towards the Stoneham bench, to make it very clear in his judgment that was a legal forward pass. Okay, the first play was a lateral, or a handoff pitch, I guess it was, from the quarterback.
And I'm not sure which, this is going to be the touchdown pass.
Let's look for McFadden now, and let's see where he catches the ball. It's behind the linebacker and in front of the safety.
And there he is.
Okay, right in that dead area in the coverage.
And if we can see the two-point conversion, too.
I am interested in seeing this one.
This is very interesting.
I didn't realize that this play was in the playbook. But
it's something
that's
special.
what Thanksgiving Day is for.
Carl McFadden mentioned to me yesterday, stop down to the Channel 3 studio. I'm not sure if we've even got it on
Oh, yeah, we've
here.
got it. There it is. Now, watch the pass.
And there it is. That was quite a play. He stopped down and mentioned that they're going to try a double reverse and then a pass off the reverse. And I guess
boy, you got all the inside information, John. I'll tell you something. Is that what you're doing during the middle of the week, running down to the football field to get all this inside information?
Getting all the secret plays.
The only concern or complaint that Stoneham was probably trying to make was, hey, ref, that after he ran all the way was he over the line of scrimmage when he threw the pass, and obviously in the judgment of the officials he was not. That's why the official looked immediately towards the Stoneham bench and made that signal that it was a legal forward pass.
That's the kind of play that over the years on Thanksgiving we've seen some stuff like that out of the Rockets. The pass and pitch is something that now if they had gotten down with about half a minute or so left in the half, or if it gets now down near the end of the game and we're close, we may still see that, the pass and lateral play. Griezmer with the kick,
that's
and
what
it
you want, is
skips
a good
through.
bounce.
And McNeil, and finally Pignon jumps on it, and that was a very wise decision he made. Pignon jumping on that loose ball down around his own 10-yard line.
Well, with 59 seconds left, it's conceivable Reading could get the ball back one more time. I'm not sure how many timeouts they've exhausted. I seem to recall 3, so I think they may have 2 left, although I'm not absolutely sure on that.
The key's going to be this first play right now. If they stuff them at the line, you may see the Rockets call the quick timeout.
But we had said we got to get back in the ball game at halftime and give Stoneham something to think about. 16-15 is enough to make you think.
Ferraro to McNeil off the left side, and he gets good yardage.
I'm sure the one thing, one of the... Whoa,
and Reading has recovered a fumble.
Play.
It appeared as if Griezmer stuck his arm in as the ball was, as McNeil was going by. I didn't see the ball pop loose. I thought McNeil...
John. I'm sorry. I was trying to look, and I didn't see it.
I thought McNeil did a good job holding on to it. I saw Griezmer try to strip it away. It appeared to be Tim, and obviously it fell in amongst all those bodies, and the Rockets jumped on it, and they've got the ball at the Stoneham 20.
Well, 52 seconds left in the half, John. This is momentum-changing time right now.
If they're able to pop one in here and score 2 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes of the half, psychologically that's going to do a number on the Spartans. 1st and 10 for Reading out of the wishbone at the Spartan 20. Crispo right up the middle, and he gets about 6 yards.
All right, Johnson has received a signal from the sideline, and he has called a timeout. Now, we'll have to keep an eye on the official to see whether he gives that indication that they've exhausted all 5 of their timeouts in the first half. If he doesn't give it, then I assume they have at least 1 left. Only 6 seconds or so went by on the clock, so the Rockets are still in good shape.
The clock, we're going by the scoreboard on down and yards to go, and they've been a little bit slow on the yards to go.
Oh, certainly not second down. It's second down, but it's certainly not 10 yards to go. I would guess probably more like 6 yards to go, if I had to give my opinion.
Crispo with a 4 or 5 yard run. Hope you viewers are enjoying our cable cast. We're trying instant replay. We've had a few glitches with it in the first half here, bringing up some of the good plays so far in the first half.
John, it's live television.
A few of our touchdowns live on tape. And this game is also being seen by Stoneham residents. and hope you're enjoying it. You've watched your Spartan team have a terrific season, rebuilding program, and for the first time in many a year, a little bit favored coming into this game against the Rockets. And it's been a terrific football game so far, as that 16-15 score indicates. Second down and 5 for Reading. Johnson, good fake, still has it. Man out there, Griezmer, and it is picked off in the end zone. It is Hickey fighting with Tim Griezmer for that ball. It was up there, laid up there by Johnson.
Johnson looks like he's down on the ground here.
And David Johnson is hurt, and he looks to be seriously hurt. And there you see David laying out there. If we can get a look at that last play, we'll take a look at the interception.
Well, he had two men out on pass routes on that side of the field. One was in the left flat and one was deep. That was Griezmer deep in the end zone. Here's the replay, John, of that play. In the left-hand side of the frame, just as he let the ball go, he was hit. He was hit. Looked like he might have bruised his left wrist or left elbow.
And Johnson being helped up off the field. And if he jammed his wrist, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, the
Rockets probably will not get the ball back again this half. We'll have to wait for the second half and find out if David's coming back.
Well, if there's any positive news, at least it's a left side. He is right-handed. He did walk off under his own power. He's on the sideline. Seems to be in some discomfort, but I think we'll see him later on in the game.
Ferraro, the give straight up the middle, and that is McNeil.
Dillon, 75, in on the play for the Rockets.
And Stoneham has called time here. I find that a little bit surprising heading into this win. They've done a terrific job offensively running the football, and absolutely nothing. They haven't had to really throw the ball. I'm not sure if they have a lot of confidence in their passing game, especially against this stiff wind. And they've got a long way to go. They've got about 79 yards to go here with 31 seconds left. Against this wind, I think that's a tall order if you plan on passing the football.
That's for sure. But, of course, the success of their running game, we've already seen. Apparently, their offensive game plan, at least running the ball, must be geared on 65 and 70-yard runs. But they have shown an ability to break that long one. And as much as we were saying a little earlier that the Rockets, if they could put that second touchdown within the last 2 minutes into the end zone, it would certainly put them in good stead to start the second half and give Spartans something to think about. Now the shoe's on the other foot. The Rockets have to protect against letting that long run hurt them again.
It is second down and 4, a 6-yard run for McNeil on that last carry. 31 seconds left, and the Spartans lead 16-15.
Seemed to be some motion before the ball was snapped there.
A couple of men moved, it appeared, for Stoneham.
Dead ball foul. It is a procedure call against Stoneham. Spartans a little over-aggressive trying to come off the ball. 29 seconds left here in the first half. Stoneham is up by a score of 16-15 in an action-packed, exciting first half of football here on Thanksgiving morning.
And it will be second down and 9 yards to go after that 5 yards marked off against Stoneham. They give up the middle. And
Scott Allen, 44 in there for the Rockets, 51 Joe Venuti. And at the bottom of the heap, it's 52 Scott Wade. Senior defensive tackle, offensive center. Had a good season this year, Scott Wade has.
And Stoneham has called timeout, and I'm not sure why. According to the scoreboard clock, there are 3 seconds left, unless they just plan on, unless they've got a trick play. This is the perfect situation for it.
I'll tell you something, if they have now exhausted all of their timeouts, there are no more timeouts left for Stoneham. We're not quite sure how much time is officially remaining here in the first half.
If they're not planning on trying to score a touchdown on this play, then that's a foolish timeout. If they're just going to run another off-tackle play here, then There's no need to call a timeout. If they plan on throwing it as far as Ferraro can, then that's a good timeout.
If I was Reading, I'd look out for the halfback pass or the pass and lateral play. Those are the two plays I'd look out for in this case.
And they've got Steve Graham about 30 yards off the line.
There's a reverse they want to run.
And they had a trick play lined up there. Pignon was rolling out to the right after taking the handoff on the reverse, and I would assume he was going to throw it as far as he could.
Procedure call again against Stoneham, a dead ball foul. These penalties haven't kept Stoneham from scoring because they have scored 16 points. But if I'm the coach of Stoneham, I got to say, guys, halftime is here. Let's think about it a little bit. Let's get our heads back in the ballgame. These penalties are going to kill us. They've taken 3 major roughing calls and probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 illegal procedure calls.
And this should do it here in the first half. Ferraro, the pitch. Now Ferraro gets it back. And he throws it, and it is incomplete. And that should do it.
Tell you something, it would have been a heck of a play if Reading guy could have intercepted that because there was nobody out there to tackle him if he could have made a return.
All right, that's the end of the first half from Stoneham. A terrific first half of play. Stoneham doing it on the ground, the Rockets doing it on the air. The score at the end of the first half here at Stoneham's varsity field is the Spartans 16 and Reading 15. Second half, John Upton along with Cliff Allen for the 1986 Thanksgiving football game. And it's been a terrific first half of play we saw with the Rockets, Dave Johnson and Carl McFadden combining for 15 points, 2 touchdown passes and a 2-point conversion. Tim Griesmer with an extra point. The conventional way, 1 point. And Stoneham with that good, strong ground game, they've been able to punch home 16 with McNeil and Hickey scoring. Tim Griesmer boots it down, and it's taken by McNeil, trying to go wide around that right side. Tom McNeil still on his feet, and he is finally taken down at about his own 37-yard line.
John,
and that's where the Spartans will start things off here in the second half. 1st and 10 from their own 37.
Senior John Kane down there, number 40 for the Rockets, along with junior Mike O'Keefe, also down there on the tackle. Special teams. Reading's got to stiffen up here to start the second half. They want to shut Stoneham down if they can do it. They want to do it early. Reading does have the advantage of the wind here in the third quarter.
And it looked like a little bit of movement on that right side of the Stoneham offensive line.
Boy, Stoneham's had problems getting off that ball together all morning and almost into the early afternoon now, John. Catch myself. It was a dead ball foul. It was a procedure call against the Spartans.
And let's see what the Rockets can do to stop that Stoneham ground game here. They've got to make some kind of an adjustment. They have not been able to stifle McNeil or Hickey out of that Stoneham backfield.
Well, one of the things they've done is go back to the 4-4, John, defense.
Around the right side, McNeil, when he is pulled down, McFadden was there for the Rockets. And it looked like Scott Allen also, Nando Zuki in on the hit.
Reading was showing some 53 early on in the first half of the ball game. They're, at least in this defensive series, showed us the basic 44 that they've been running most of the season. Reading fans realize that Jeff Durandi, one of the inside linebackers in the normal 4-4, is injured, is out for this game. So Reading wanted to change up a little bit, but now they've gone back to that 44.
Ferraro, the give off the left side. That's Tom McNeil. It has some room. Tom McNeil down that left sideline, and he is still on his feet, spun away, and finally taken down to the 40-yard line.
Well, Scott Allen comes downfield along with Mark Schwam and a host of other tacklers. Timmy Griesmer in there. Here's the replay of this run.
And you see McNeil once again down the left side, and that's the third time, and he almost spun away there. And
Michael Sewell is holding on for dear life, but ball carrier is able to make that spin move.
and he was taken down at about the 40. Now here's McNeil straight up the middle for about 6 yards. Peter L. got a hand on him on the way through and almost tripped him up, but he was able to stagger his way through, and he fell down after about a 6 or 7 yard gain. Once again, Cliff, we're seeing that Stoneham ground game just churning out some big yards here early in the third quarter.
Well, I saw them earlier this year against Lexington, and they were able to move the ball pretty well against Lexington. So this ground game has been one that's been with the team all year long. They've been quite successful with it.
Bob Ferraro, the Stoneham quarterback, calling out the signals. And the give to Hickey off the right side, and he is taken down after about a 2 yard gain. L in on the hit.
That was a counter play, John. They've been pretty successful running the ball on power plays, straight dive plays, but this time they gave a little bit of a counter move. Gave the appearance initially of going off their left tackle or guard area, and then the ball carrier cut back across the right offensive guard's position, but Reading was able to hold their spots and make the tackle.
It will be third down and about 2, and Hickey is stacked up right at the line of scrimmage.
Well, for one of the first times, one of the few times today, they were able to make the initial hit behind the line of scrimmage, straighten him up, and hold him from spinning and breaking for more yardage. Timmy Griesmer made one of the men making the initial contact in that play.
And it's going to be fourth down, and I'm sure Stoneham's going to go for here. 4th down and 1. Big sequence of plays here for the Rockets, and let's see if they can hold them on 4th down and 1. And straight up the middle goes Ferraro, and he has got more than enough for a Spartan first down. Just drove it straight over the center, followed his block, and basically all he had to do really was less than a yard. He had to fall over the line of scrimmage, and he got about 3 yards as it was.
Well, I'll tell you, I bet you the coaching staff for Stoneham was holding their breath because early on in the game they've had some difficulty getting off that line of scrimmage all together in unison. And that time they did get off the line. Good surge by the offensive line for the first down.
1st and 10 at the Reading 27 off the left side. McNeil, and somebody stuck an arm out.
I think it was Timmy Griesmer, 85, was able to make that kind of clothesline him a little bit, and Scott Allen came in as the ball carrier went down. I think Allen came in and kind of finished them off.
It will be 2nd down and 7.
One thing that has been lacking so far in the game has been the Rockets' inability to get into the backfield.
Ferraro off the left side, and there's a loose ball, and let's see who has got it. Stoneham has recovered.
Well, as soon as we say that they haven't been able to get in the backfield, they penetrate, catch the ball carrier probably a yard or so into the backfield.
Sewell was there for the Rockets.
I saw 52, Scott Wade, also there, and in fact, he was within an arm's reach perhaps of pulling that fumble in, but the Stoneham ball player was able to get there first, make that recovery. They maintain possession.
Under 5.5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Stoneham took the second half kickoff. They have not given up. Now another fumble, and it was recovered once again by Stoneham, and it's going to be 4th down and about 8 yards to go for the Spartans. And that time the fumble, and right there they're in the mud.
Looks like a flag down there. What a break for the Spartans against Reading.
It certainly is. That was going to give them a 4th and 8 or 9 yards to go, and I would assume that mud puddle had something to do with that last fumble. Unfortunately, this is a horrible penalty to take in this situation. I'm not sure what happened underneath that pile. Obviously, one of the Rockets a little bit too aggressive.
It's a dead ball foul. It's after the play was over. Personal foul against the Rockets. I was looking at the Stoneham bench at the conclusion of that play before we saw the flag, and Coach Kasperzak threw his hands up in frustration because between offside penalties and fumbles, they've had a hands full today.
Ferraro, the give straight up the middle, Hickey, and he is taken down after about a 5-yard gain. Bill Dillon in on the hit for the Rockets, as was Steve Graham. It will be 2nd down and about 6.
Well, Grambo, as he's affectionately referred to by his coaches and teammates, in there on the hit.
The ball is inside Reading's 10. Off the left side, McNeil has some room. Sewell trying to take him down. Touchdown, Stoneham. Tom McNeil with some terrific running around that left end and showing some good upper body strength. Sewell tried to take him down high, and he just drove right through Mike Sewell, carried him into the end zone. And McNeil has been the offensive star for the Stoneham Spartans. Scores his second touchdown of what is now the afternoon, and gives Stoneham a 22-15 lead. And they have chewed up a lot of this third quarter, Cliff, with that drive. And they'll probably go for 2 here, as they have all throughout the game. Stoneham. Ferraro calling out the signals, keeping it around the left side, and he is not in. Just barely knocked out at about the 1 yard line. And if we could take a look at the touchdown now. Ferraro, you can see him, and the give off the left side, McNeil, and he just takes Mike Sewell, just barely snuck into that left corner.
Well, when you've got a 175-pound running back who's got his momentum up, and you're a 140-pound soaking wet, maybe a 140-pound defensive back, and you try to come up and make the contact, I think you've done a pretty good job to come up and make contact. And basically what you do then is you hold on for dear life, and that's what happened with Michael that time. Good effort on his part, but just physically outmatched in that particular play. It certainly was not as a result of lack of effort.
McNeil has been tough for all the Rockets to bring down in this one so far. He's got a 65-yard run to his credit. Got the Spartans down to about the Reading 5-yard line in their first drive. And that was basically the drive on that 65-yard run, and another 5 yards on the next couple of carries. Ran 85 yards for a score. We saw him on this drive run about 20 yards around that left side, and right then, once again, around the left side.
This misconversion attempt by the Spartans could be a key play in the game.
Boyle drills it down. Good kick down to about the 10-yard line, taken by Schwalm. And he is wrestled to the ground, and there's a pig pile. Ricky Pignot, number 22, was the first man in on the hit, and about 8 or 9 other blue shirts piled on top. Reading will take over 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line. They've got the wind with them here, and they've got about 3.5 minutes left in this third quarter that they're going to have the wind. And I think that's going to be a factor. If they go into the fourth quarter, try and have to pass the ball for any great distance against this wind, then they're going to be possibly in some kind of trouble.
Well, they're right in that muck and mire, worst spot on the field to be in right now for the Rockets.
And Crispo off the left side, and he is hit hard after about a 2-yard gain.
Ed Hickey did a good job coming up from the secondary and filling. He made a good hit and was able to bring Crispo down.
Stoneham leads here 22-15 with 3 minutes and 10 seconds and counting left to go here in the third quarter. The ball at the Rocket 31-yard line. Both teams have had some success offensively. The main men for Reading have been David Johnson to Carl McFadden. Carl catching one 40-yard pass and another 10-yard touchdown pass. And a 2-point conversion. Now the pitch around the right side. Crispo, good
Look like
pursuit.
a face mask.
And you're right, Cliff. There's going to be a face mask called against Stoneham. And we've got some irate Stoneham fans over to our right.
Well, when you see, of course, we've got the benefit of the replay, and I had no doubt in my mind, John, when I see an offensive back's head go that way after he's gone past the tackler, there's nothing else that could have happened but be a face mask call. So I certainly disagree with the ardent Stoneham fans over on this side of the field, but it was a rather obvious call. It's got to be the fifth major penalty that the Spartans have taken today, and that's remains to be seen how much of negative effect it may have on their on the outcome of this game. But certainly they're not helping themselves.
A 5-yard penalty marked off, unintentional face mask called against Stoneham.
Well, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
It will be second down and about 5. Crispo off that left side, and he gains about 3 yards. It's going to be third down, and we'll call it 2 at the Rocket 38-yard line.
Just to clarify the face mask call, in order for it to be something more severe, rather than an inadvertent call, you have to actually show that you're intentionally twisting the face mask and so forth, so that it was I don't want to give the player a bum rap. In fact, it was unintentional, I'm sure. He was faced with a blocker at his legs. He saw the running back running to the outside. He certainly didn't want to get beaten, and basically he ran in there and grabbed the first thing he could. Unfortunately for him, it was a face mask.
We've got 2:07 left to go in the third quarter. The Rockets called a timeout. It's third down and about 2 yards to go. And Stoneham with a 22-15 lead in what has been, on a very sunny day, a little bit colder than I think the weatherman said it was going to be, but not a bad day to play a football game, save for this wind. It's kind of a biting wind at times, and but a lot more comfortable than 1 year ago today, Cliff, that's for sure.
I thought it was cold before the game started, but when I saw those highlights from last year's game, boy, I warmed up fast. It wasn't nothing compared to last year.
It is third down and 2. Crispo off the left side, and he's going to be very close, and it's going to depend on the spot.
Spartans had a blitz on that time. It looked as though the middle linebacker was attempting to read the snap count, guessed that it was going to be, I guess, on 2 or 1 or 2, and he tried to coincide his crossing the line of scrimmage with a snap of the ball. Was successful, but the play was run away from him, so that it actually had no impact on the play at all.
And it was enough for a Reading first down. The Rockets break the huddle. David Johnson took a hit late in the first half. He is okay. Straight up the middle, Scott Allen stumbles his way forward, and he gained about 3.5, 4 yards on that carry. That's a play that's been successful earlier this year, Cliff. The quick hitter right up the middle. That time Scott was tripped up at the line and was able to fall forward, gained about 3 yards. It will be second down and about 7.
This presents Reading with actually 2 downs here. They've got second and about, probably 6.5, maybe 7. And, now they come back, they can run the ball and then come back and throw it in third down if they want to, or they can throw it here.
And it is. McFadden split out wide to the right, off the right side, and I'm not sure who it was with that carry, but he was taken down on a good defensive play by the Stoneham line. It looked like
Senior Mark Schwam on the carry, number 33 for the Rockets.
And Anthony Saltamartini in on that hit for Stoneham. And it's going to be third down and about 9, a loss of a couple on that carry. A little bit surprised here, Cliff, with the wind and the final seconds being counted off. Reading has not thrown the ball. And now they're going to try up the sideline, McFadden, and just knocked away by Pignone. I don't think Carl was going to catch that anyway. It led him just a bit too much. And Pignone jumped up and knocked it away. Made a good defensive play. That was just a sprint up that right sideline for Carl McFadden, and Johnson, it's a timing play, and he tries to lay it out there for Carl. Pignone came over, able to knock it away, made a good defensive play, and it's going to be the Rockets punting it away, and it's good to get this punt out of the way with the wind at your back. Good quick play. I think that was a consideration there. If they didn't complete the pass, try to do it before the quarter ended, before they had to switch sides. And now we've got a fake, so there goes that theory. And it is Sorbello being knocked out. Derek Sorbello, number 17. And he is knocked out, the fake field goal. The fake punt. That would have been a long field goal, Cliff.
Would have been a real long field goal. Now, there seems to be, the initial signal was it's first down for Stoneham. Now I see the head official come over here and put the ball down. Now, the ball was already picked up once and then put down again, so I'm not quite sure what the delay here is. I guess it's perhaps just because it's a delay here at the end of the quarter. The officials are getting together and being sure that they know what yard marker they want to go to. They'll make the switch, and basically Stoneham's going to take over, and they're going to be having the advantage of the wind.
And there we see the fake field, I'm saying field goal, Cliff. It was a fake punt. And now we're back to live action.
Well, Derek Sabello did a good job, I think, maximizing the gain. He put his shoulder down, and I think he took one for the team. You know, I mean, he was going for that yardage, and he wasn't going to be stopped except by an outstanding play, and that's exactly what Stoneham got that time. Defensively, it was an outstanding play.
And I think the Rockets were shy. I believe it's going to be Stoneham's ball.
Yeah, after a reconsideration and kind of looking to see where the referees, now that it's away from the sideline, to see where the referees actually placed the ball, I would guess that they were probably about 3.5 or 4 yards short.
Sabello with a good effort, though. He did.
Excellent effort.
Take that one for his team as he was shaken up for a moment down here in front of us on the right.
You know, I was watching him go out of bounds. I lost track of where he was, and I saw the bench fall over, so I guess he might have hit the bench. Fortunately for him, it's a wooden bench.
Ferraro off the right side. McNeil, a big hole, and he drives his way forward. Another 10-yard gain for Tom McNeil.
Michael Sewell and Steve Graham in on the tackle for the Rockets.
And McNeil has got to be, sorry, Cliff, real close to 200 yards rushing on the afternoon.
I think we probably want to commend him in a fine afternoon and late morning and early afternoon he's having here. But I'll tell you something, from a Reading point of view, Reading's got to suck it up, and they got to stop those Spartans here. Otherwise, they're in for a long fourth quarter. Looked to me like there was motion there, but it went undetected.
McNeil was dragged down. He needed a yard. It was 2nd down and 1, and he got 5. And I think you're right, Cliff. I thought I saw a little bit of motion along that Stoneham offensive line. Nothing called, and it will be 1st and 10 for the Spartans at the Reading 36-yard line. This is the time for the Rockets right now, Cliff. If they get down by 2 touchdowns, I think that's a little too much to ask for them to come back. It's not that they can't do it. It's going to be real hard to do it, though, especially they're going to have to pass the ball, and they're going straight into the teeth of that wind. That's going to be a tall order for the Rockets. Coming straight up the middle is Tom McNeil.
Let me make an observation. They have a left guard or tackle that is going to be a superhuman athlete out there, because either he's moving, either he's offside every time, or he's getting off right with the ball, because that play has got to be close over there. But the referees have shown no indication that they're going to throw the flag, so I guess he must just be getting off the ball as the snaps are being made.
2nd down and about 5 for the Spartans. Off the right side, it is McNeil, and he squirms forward.
Well, he tried to make a spin move, and he spun himself right into a face-to-face position with Steve Graham.
But he gained another 4 or 5 yards, and that is another 1st down for Stoneham.
Yeah, timeout in the field, and it's going to be charged to the Rockets. Coach Nyan wants to gather the defensive troops together here, and they got to have a little strategy meeting.
And this is the time, you said it earlier, they've just got to get determined out there and say, you're not going to score against any more points in this one. And then it will be up to the Reading offense to go out there and do what they can. And we just got from our statistician, Steve Algieri, who just wandered down and told us that Tom McNeil has 264 yards rushing on the afternoon.
Oh, that's about 200 yards, John.
He's closing in on 3, which I have not seen, a 300-yard rushing day for any high school, college, or professional running back in all the years I've been watching football. And McNeil, he got the bulk of that, obviously, on the 185-yard run, another 65-yard run. But he's also shown that he can be a tough runner also. He has done a lot of good, hard running inside. And a good example was that touchdown run earlier, as he just put his shoulder down and drove the Reading defensive back into the end zone for those final 5 yards. Stoneham has it, 1st and 10.
It's a flag again. I think maybe I think maybe the referee might have caught one of the Spartans there jumping just a little too soon.
I thought you mentioned it, and I thought at least on the last 2 plays of that left side of their offensive line, as you said, either extremely quick off the ball or moving just a split second too soon.
That time it seemed to me as though it might have been the right tackle that made that premature move, the right tackle of the right guard. I think that's who it might have been. But in any case, they are getting off the ball very, very quickly, and that in essence explains the success of the Spartan running game. That and the great running ability that's being demonstrated so far today.
The wind really starting to blow extremely hard right now. McNeil straight up the middle, and he is taken down.
Grambo in there, Steve Graham for the Stoneham residents. Steve Graham on the tackle, along with 75 senior Bill Dillon.
One thing we should mention, Cliff, the Rockets have had the ball for 1 series of downs in this second half, and that has been it. Stoneham got the ball, took about 6.5 minutes on their opening drive of the second half, scored. Reading got the ball back, had it for about 3 minutes themselves, moved the ball a little bit. That was it, though, and they have not seen the ball since, as Hickey takes the handoff, and there's a loose ball.
Inside handoff again, and that attempted reverse play. Inside handoff is a fumble, and the Rockets recover.
Reading has got it. And hopefully we can take a look at this and see who it is that causes that fumble. And in amongst everybody, and you can see Nando Zuki immediately signaling that Reading has it. I'm not sure who got it for the Rockets.
All the numbers are more or less obliterated by the mud on the front of the shirts for the Rockets, so we couldn't tell from here.
That could be the break Reading needs, though. They've got the ball at their own 26-yard line. Johnson, the fake, rolling to the right, throwing long, has McFadden by himself. Collins got it, and he's taken out at about the Stoneham 45-yard line.
He had the short man open as well that time. Scott Allen, the fullback, on a pass pattern that the Rockets ran early in the first quarter successfully. They had the short man open as well. So Johnson really had a choice on this play.
And here's the play, throwing it. And we barely get it on the shot there.
Some sort of missed coverage, I think, in the Stoneham Spartan secondary in that play, because he was just too wide open. He wasn't between coverages. He was beyond coverage on that one.
Now the pitch around the left side, Paul Crispo, and he has some blockers in front of him, cuts it inside.
Good block by Scott Allen here as he kicked the defender outside and allowed Crispo to gain probably another 5 or 6 yards in that play. Now the Rockets, with about 6 minutes and 45 seconds left in the ball game, trailing by a score of 22-15, find themselves in the predicament now of second down and in short yardage, about 1. And the ball is on about the Stoneham 36-yard line. Scott Wade, the Rocket center, covers the ball. David Johnson in the huddle now looks to the sideline and calls timeout. The Rockets have taken timeout, and they are going to discuss strategy. Facing a second down and about 1 to go. All in all, it's been a very, very interesting ball game, certainly not lacking of offense. Any football fans, regardless of what side they hope would come out on the top end of the scoreboard, I would suspect that they have been quite happy with what they've seen so far today. Rockets have done a good job moving the ball, as have the Stoneham Spartans.
It is second down and 1 yard to go for the Rockets at the Spartan 36-yard line.
Clock has been corrected by the official in the field. There's now 6:27 left in the ball game here.
Straight up the middle, that's Scott Allen spinning his way through. He has a Reading first down.
Looked like the initial hit for Stoneham was by Boyle, but not before Scott Allen was able to get the first down for the Rockets.
It will be 1st and 10 for Reading at the Stoneham 33-yard line.
The Rockets are certainly well within 4-down territory if they come to that predicament in the series, the sequence.
David Johnson. Dropping straight back. Pass over the middle to McFadden, and he is dragged down by 53 for Stoneham is Anthony Saltamartini. Kyle, if he had slipped through Saltamartini's grasp, I think he was going to get a little bit more yardage on that. Anthony hung tough, though, and held on and pulled Kyle down.
Actually, pretty good coverage by Anthony on that play. The way the play is drawn, there's a delay pattern run by McFadden. He gets the ball, comes back parallel with the line of scrimmage, and Scott Allen is out there trying to seal off that man. Unfortunately, Anthony did a good job of getting to McFadden early.
Second down and about 5. Crispo off the left side, squirts his way through, and he gets it down to about the 25-yard line.
The Spartan defense continues to guess when the ball is going to be snapped. See movement on the defensive side of the ball by the linebackers almost every single play. Hoping to throttle that Rocket ground game at the line of scrimmage, if not in the offensive backfield. 5:17 on the clock, although the clock is unofficial. 22-15 is the score. At this point, the Spartans are on top.
And Reading on the move. After recovering a fumble at about their own 25-yard line, they've moved it to the Spartan 25. The inside handoff to Graham, and he is tripped up. And it may have been Mark Schwam with that carry, as Mark is covered with mud. They're right in amongst all that mud now. It runs for about 20-25 yards, starts at the Stoneham 35 and goes all the way down to about the 10-yard line. And it's a big mud spot out there, and the ball's right there.
The scoreboard says 4th and 2, and I think they're being kind. I think it's more like 4th and 3.
This is maybe the biggest play of the ball game. Crispo off the left side. He's got the first down and then some. Paul Crispo, and he is knocked down at about the Stoneham 8-yard line.
See some Rocket players of the past over here on the side of the field watching the ball game, enthusiastically supporting the Rockets.
Let's take a look at it again.
Crispo gets the handoff through the line of scrimmage and then immediately breaks to the outside and is able to spin and move his way up along the sideline. That's the break the Rockets needed to continue the drive.
The ball is inside the Spartan 10, 1st and goal. And it is Paul Crispo straight up the middle, spinning his way to about the 5. Paul Crispo doing some good, tough running. The clock running. Closing in on 3.5 minutes left to go in the game.
Looking down here on the, surprisingly enough, here we are on the Stoneham side of the field, and I see some, as I said earlier, some Rockets of the past here cheering on the Rockets of the present. I see Billy Keefe and Kevin Mello over here cheering on the Rockets. And it's second down and about 5 with 3:18 on the clock.
Johnson to give straight up the middle.
Scott Allen into about the 1, maybe the half-yard line. The middle of the field, the middle of the Spartan defense seems to be opening up just a little bit now because Crispo's been so successful off tackle that now what's happening is the defense is spreading a little bit. On top of that, the Rockets, I think, are getting a better surge off the offensive line, which is something they weren't getting with quite the intensity earlier in the game.
The clock moving, 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. 3rd down and goal from the 1-yard line. Off the left side, Crispo, and he is stopped. It will be 4th and goal. The clock continues to run. The ball is at about the Stoneham half-yard line. And this is the game right here, Cliff.
I'll tell you something. It took a long time to get that play in from the sideline, and that 30-second clock is now running, so I think the Rockets don't want to hesitate. They want to get to that line of scrimmage and run this play. They may be saved by the 2-minute warning.
And I believe they were. And I think they were a little fortunate.
I think they were very fortunate in that case, John, because I saw the quarterback looking to the sideline, looking for that offensive lineman who was going to shuttle the play in. A little late getting in from the sideline, but fortunately for the Rockets, the clock wound down to the 2-minute warning, The clock was stopped, reset. Here it is, 4th and 1 for the Rockets.
4th and goal.
Down by 7.
Off the left side, Crispo. Touchdown, Reading. Paul Crispo. And he was hit. You saw that Stoneham line move up. Good penetration by Stoneham, but Crispo took the initial hit. The momentum. And Reading scores as Paul Crispo had the momentum going. You mentioned it about McNeil earlier on his touchdown run. Paul was hit right at that goal line, fought his way through, and scores the touchdown.
Okay, now, John, you're the coach. Okay, I'll put the shoe on your foot.
I go for 2.
Okay, all right, you're down by 1 point. We get the kick conversion, and we tie the ball game up. There's 1 minute and 44 seconds left in the game. Overall in this series, Reading has 44 wins, Stoneham has 23, and there have been 6 ties. Right, you're the Reading coach. You've let the cat out of the bag. What do? Do you go for the tie or do you go for the win?
I let the cat out of the bag. I go for the win.
Okay, so that's the way I like to hear it. Now, for all those people who are kind of guessing along with us, you can't change your mind if there's anything bad that happens, all right?
Well, they're not.
But there's going to be some good things happening, so everybody just kind of hang in there.
Anybody listening to us isn't guessing, though. They know what's
They know. They know.
They know what's happened.
Now, the Stoneham people that are listening may not be particularly happy here, but here's the situation. There's 1 minute and 44 seconds left on the clock. Reading has just scored. They have closed the gap to 1 point. They are losing. Stoneham has 22 points. The Rockets have 21. And now the Rockets have taken a timeout. They've called the play. They're back in the field. And here's the conversion attempt.
And I go for the 2, and so doesn't Gary Nyan. They're going to go for the 2, Dave Johnson. The pitch out to the right. Crispo looking to run, diving, and he's in. Paul Crispo.
In for the conversion. Unbelievable.
Paul Crispo goes in for the 2-point conversion.
Look at the Rocket players and the coaches on the other side of the field, if the camera can shoot that. Boy, everybody is celebrating on the Rocket side of the field.
Paul Crispo, it looked like a run-pass option. Paul looked like he was cocking his right arm, saw that corner of the end zone, dove his way through, and hopefully...
John, the Rockets have made a statement. They've told Stoneham they want this ball game, but now it's up to the Rocket defense that has had some difficulty stopping the ground game for the Spartans. 1 minute and 43 seconds, plenty of time. I don't know how many timeouts the Spartans have left, but that will have an impact in this ball game. Boy, the Rockets, everybody over that side of the field was jumping up and down, and everybody's happy.
And let's see what we've got here. We've got our replay going. This is the touchdown.
Here's a touchdown.
Paul Crispo going over.
Looked like it might have been over the 5 or the 3 hole for the Rockets in their offensive hole schematic.
And here we've got the 2-point conversion. And hopefully...
Oh, we'll have plenty of time to get this in here. Now watch this when he gets the ball on the jet. He moves to the outside, and he fought his way into the end zone. That was a very close play, but the official was right on the play, and he must have just got that nose in there. Remember, for those fans who may be casual football fans, you have to remember that the goal line is like a pane of glass. All you have to do is break that pane of glass.
You can get pushed back.
You can get into the end zone and push back, but still have it counted as a touchdown. Great second effort and good offensive blocking that time by the Rockets.
And the key was recovering the Stoneham fumble down at their own 25-yard line. Griezmer's kick bounces to Pignon, trying to come up the middle. He's wrapped up for a moment. Now he gets away, has some room. One man to beat, Pignon, and he is finally taken down.
I see a flag on that side. Mark Schwarm was over there in a position to try to make a tackle, and I'll tell you something. If you had to write a textbook and show a picture of a clip, that was it right there. And there's the call. It is a clip against the Spartans, and that is not going to help the cause because not only have they lost the yardage in return, but they burned some time off the clock. There's only 1 minute and 31 seconds left, unofficially.
And it is going to be pushed back from the infraction.
I got to get pumped up here a little bit, John. I'm going to catch my breath. 23-22 in favor of the Rockets. This is a microcosm of the whole Rocket season. The whole Rocket season. down at the beginning and a comeback to surge ahead. Not surge, but go ahead, I guess. Surge by 1 point. We don't want to say surge. But here we are here now. The Spartans 1st and 10, deep in their own territory, right in the muck and the mire.
At their own 25. Ferraro, the handoff off the left side. McNeil, and he is pulled down at about his own 33-yard line, an 8-yard gain.
Tim McGreesmer, 85 over there for the Rockets. I mean, basically, the Rockets are willing to give the guy 4 or 5 yards, and he can drag all the Rockets he wants to for 4 or 5 yards. But he's just eating time off the clock. Minute 9 and counting on the clock.
Off the left side again, McNeil on his feet. McNeil, and he is taken down by one of the secondary men for the Rockets.
Looked to me like it was Mark Schwarm. I don't know if that was a game-saving tackle, but it was pretty darn close to it. Let me tell you, John. Minute and 1 second left on the clock, and the Spartans now very quickly take a timeout. They want to think things over and get the game plan in order before they get down too close to the end of the ball game here. They have now another first down, 1st and 10. The ball has been moved from deep in their own territory. They now face the 1st and 10 from about their own 49-yard line. Score is 23 for the Rockets, 22 for the Spartans. 4th quarter, 1 minute and 1 second left in the ball game. For any football fans who have been at this game and are watching a replay, I think you got to agree you saw a heck of a football game today, no matter what the outcome of this game is.
Well, the score here indicates it 23-22 with 1:01 left to go in the game. The ball at the Stoneham 48-yard line. The pitch left. That's McNeil fighting his way through.
Trick here is to keep him in bounds. You want him to stay in bounds. Don't let him out. Keep him in bounds. You can let him gain 7 or 8 yards, but keep him in bounds because the clock's going to continue running.
And it is running, and now they've stopped it.
Well, they stop it to reset the markers. Apparently, he got enough for the first down. They reset the chains, then they start the clock up again. 46 seconds and counting.
At the Reading 46-yard line, off the right side, McNeil on his feet, and he dives forward.
Mike Sewell, 22 at the ankles on the tackle. Finished off by Graham, 36 seconds left.
And really surprising, they haven't got much time here, and they're trying to do it all on the ground.
Well, they got the wins. They've had a very successful ground game. You got to believe they're going to put the ball up at some point. The question is, which down are they going to do it on?
I don't think they've thrown a complete pass in the game, save for the 2-point conversion, which was deflected into the hands of Matt Taylor early in the game.
I don't know if the Spartans have this play in their playbook, but if I'm the Reading Rocket head coach and staff, I'm telling my guys, you watch out that number 31, Tom McNeil, doesn't throw a halfback pass. That's the one thing you're concerned about here. You don't want to be sucked in by the apparent run and get beaten by a pass behind the defense.
And that play is certainly set up in this situation.
No doubt about it.
He has run a fantastic football game out of that backfield, and he has, I'm sure, very close to 300 yards. Just saw Steve Algieri again, and he mentioned before that last carry he had about 293 yards, I believe. And that last carry was good for
298, 299 anyway.
For 6 or 7. There are 27 seconds left. Stoneham's ready. Here comes the Reading defense.
Well, the Stoneham coaching staff, their concern here is to be sure that we don't have an illegal procedure. 27 seconds left.
Ferraro, they give straight up the middle to Hickey.
Now, they've got the wind. I don't know. Do they have a field goal kicker in this roster? I'm not sure.
They have not used him on any extra point attempts.
I haven't seen it. He certainly isn't warmed up if they've got one, that's for sure. He's been on the bench all afternoon.
And don't think they're within anybody they have's range at this point. The clock, the scoreboard clock is at 22 seconds.
Well, we just did an unofficial poll of the Stoneham fans, and the vote was 4-2 that they don't have a field goal kicker. One point that you did make that we haven't seen him at all early on in the game, but I think that the reason we didn't, if they had an extra point kick, we didn't see him is because Stoneham wanted to make a point. You know, they wanted to show that they wanted this ball game.
The ball.
It's a wide formation by Stoneham this time.
At the Reading 33-yard line. 2nd down and 7. Ferraro back to pass, looking long, throwing. And it is
intercepted. It looks like, yes, it is by Carl McFadden, 84.
Carl
This is a
McFadden.
game-saving play. That's it right there. 13 seconds left.
Carl McFadden with the interception.
I got a rocket down in the field, down there about the 30-yard line. I could not see a number. Don't know who it is.
And we've got the replay, and let's see the interception.
Plenty of time.
Ferraro.
He double pumps it, throws the ball deep, throws in the triple coverage, it looked like to me, and McFadden is there, takes advantage of his height and his reach advantage to intercept that pass, and in effect, I would think, ought to kill the last-ditch hopes of Stoneham in this case. 13 seconds on the clock. Reading's up 23-22, and basically all they got to do is